All right, welcome back. Another week around the trash fire. Sleepy boy here, number one, Matthias, along with
Oh,
John, who is not sleepy.
John, who's not sleepy, and my special guest, returning guest.
Travis, who is very sleepy.
Welcome back, Travis. It's been a whole year since you've been here.
I know. Look at me for the big anniversary day.
Must be LVO. Only reason you'd be here.
Yeah, if it looks like LVO, smells like LVO, must be LVO.
So, how have you been? Even though I just saw you.
Good. Had a frantic as is LVO tradition for us. Had a frantic hobby explosion starting at the beginning of January to get my army done. Got 2,000 points of custodies painted in just under half a month. And yeah, excited. Got to play him at LVO. We'll talk about the win rates, or win loss record, but it was pretty fun at least.
it was an experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to play the army. That's for sure.
Yes, we'll go over that in a moment. But we have the other things that we need to take care of here. Some quickie news. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? First things first, I know John maybe happy about this. Your Death Volume 3 is back on sale, back on the market.
Oh, I've given up. I'm not even gonna try to get this. But I mean, it's great. I'm glad they're doing this because scalpers gonna scalp, and they scalped hard when this came out. So seeing that James Workshop is refusing to release copies to the scalpers and just reselling them is great. So good move.
So no plans, no plans to wait in queue.
No, I'd probably be at work anyway. But even if I was available, it's too much of a hassle to. You know what? I don't know. It's gonna fetch a pretty penny in like 10 years.
You know,
Yeah,
you want that
We'll
FOMO.
see.
that's
It's
true.
because I only have one of them, so there's no desire to collect them all or catch them all, as the kids say.
Fair.
It's cool though. I mean, I'm glad it's happening.
Yep, so that is coming back for all those who didn't get it Wednesday. So tomorrow when this video goes up. Best of luck to everyone. I will not be participating in that line, but
Yeah.
whoever wants it gets it. Moving on. Got some old world news. First thing we got, Legacy. So for all those who don't have the current armies, we're now able to play your game. Now that
Yes.
Old World is officially out.
Yes. So if you play Lizardmen, Dark Elves, Vampire Counts, Ogre Kingdoms, Skaven, Demons of Chaos, and Chaos Dwarves, the full army lists are now out for the Old World. And I know a good amount of people who are hyped for these armies. Now, once again, we talked about it at length last time when these were not announced, but when Games Workshop released their statements about these armies, but they will not be getting support for the foreseeable future. Now, they say the word ever, but it's not going to be ever. I'm sure at some point we'll see some content updates for these armies. Just I wouldn't count on it. If again, like I said, we said before, if you're planning to play the old world and you want an army that's gonna get support, do not play these armies. This is more for people who own these models and want to join in the fun with the new game that just came out. So, and they're pretty solid. I've browsed through them. Nothing insane like in Horus Heresy where the Imperial Guard or Militia Baneblade costs twice as much as the Space Marine Baneblade, despite having one less ballistic skill. So none of that crap here, thankfully. Actually, well written.
That is good to hear. So that's coming out. We also got this article that you want to talk about, the Orcs and Goblin tribes.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about the LVO preview later, but for those who saw the preview, there was an old world news. Now the game just kind of came out, but I think Games Workshop wanted to tie in the announcements to the game launch on Saturday as opposed to the preview on Thursday. So the next army getting support are the Orcs and Goblins. So Will is very pleased with this announcement. And coming with the release is a battalion. I haven't heard that word in a long time, have we, Matt? Battalion.
No, battalion is a dead word.
It is returned. Just like the monolith, it has returned. But yeah, so this comes with a bunch of Orc boys, a bunch of goblins, and some war chariots. Now, this is compared to the launch boxes, the Tomb Kings and Bretonnian ones. And we just want to mention that you get way less stuff in here. I believe the launch boxes are 1250 points. This is probably like 600 maybe points, maybe
If
500.
that.
So
500 sounds about right.
Yeah, I built a test army for Orcs and Goblins at 1251, and it's like this box plus like the Black Orc, some characters, and some Boar cavalry. So you need a good amount to match the launch boxes in points, and also notably does not come with the rule book, the dice, or the whippy sticks, or the template. So definitely not not as robust of a starter product as the the starter boxes, but I'm gonna assume this is gonna be significantly cheaper, and for people who bought the rulebook separately already, and yeah, this is a good purchase if you want to start or add to your Orcs and Goblins army. Also coming out with the Arcane Journal, the Codex equivalent, and some 2 new characters. We got the Black Orc War Boss and this new character, the Ogru Swamp Digger, which is interesting because it reminds me of Cruel Boys with that swamp motif. I guess they're bringing that to Orcs and Goblins. Sadly, these will be Forge World resin, but you know what? I'll take it. It's not metal.
I won't. I will not accept Forge World resin. They need to be plastic. Just like the whole army.
Like the whole army. Yeah, speaking of plastic, we're gonna see re-release of the very beautiful looking Orc boss and Boar boss. Gosh, those look ugly as hell. And the Orc boys, goblins, Boar boys, all plastic hits. Black Orcs are coming back, after being squatted for a few months with the new Iron Jaws release. They're coming back with square bases. Also coming out with some more resin kits, more Black Orc characters. This psychedelic goblin. If you guys check it out, it's pretty funny. The guy on the right. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that model either.
It's kind of
Must
cool.
have been an limited edition model.
Yeah, it's killer though.
Right? It's like, huh. We
He's
got
having
the. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying he's having a good time.
He's having a great time. He's happy to be re-released, even though he's going to be in resin.
I don't think I've ever seen any of these models, to be honest.
I've seen the banner guy. I saw some guy have it. That's also really gross. It's like an impaled dwarf on the banner. That's pretty gnarly.
And Imperial Fire Slayer, I mean, they kind of deserve it, I'm just saying.
We got those. We got the Forge World Swamp Hag coming back for whatever reason. And sure, it exists. It's in Total War. And then we got the Orc War Boss on Wyvern, which thankfully is in resin. I mean, plastic is the best, but this was in metal at some point, and I just can't imagine pulling that together in metal. Speaking of metal, we got the orc. I forgot the name of this unit. The Orc Catapult Rock Lava.
Rock Lava.
Some goblin characters. They give a list of the stuff, and the orc trolls and snotlings coming back as well in metal. This is a lot of models, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they're re-releasing models, but if you told me this was gonna come back, if you told me 2 years ago this is gonna come back, I would have not believed you. This is a huge wave of models they announced. Now they're not all coming back at the same time. Same with Tomb Kings and Bretonnians, but it's a crap ton of models.
Yeah, no Goblin Fanatics, no Goblin Launcher.
Yeah, interestingly, no Night Goblins, because I think they're in Age of Sigmar still. But yeah, the Doom the Doom Diver's coming back. It's on the list. They just didn't show the picture. But Night Goblins are in AoS, so unless they get new models in Age of Sigmar, which they might, those are still available for purchase. yeah, Orc and Goblin fans rejoice. This excites me for my Wars of Chaos whenever they get their big launch. But yeah, this is a great announcement for Old World.
The old world hype, huh?
Old the hype is real.
All right. I think that's it for that. I think now we get into some model news here. Quickly go over the Sunday preview here. More old world news. Bretonnian Lord on Pegasus. Bretonians, Standard Bearer Warhorse. Some Paladins on foot.
I haven't seen those in a long time, those Paladins.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah. Yes, for very good reason.
Damsel of the Lady. Yeah, the good models here, the Tomb Kings.
You know, that guy on the left is a new paint job. I can't believe they actually repainted that.
Well, they gotta sell it to you.
This is true.
But yeah, I have these two models. So these are good. I like these. The Lich Priests. These are the ones that I have. And the Standard Bearer. Freaking metal models, top heavy. Hate to see it.
Love those made to order.
Black Library, we got Zombie Slayer, which is a not Godfrey, right?
It is Gotrek and Felix. I'm actually super hyped about this. I've been listening to the Gotrek and Felix novels, and you know I've listened to them for a while now because they release them sparingly. And I remember looking at the series of books, and Zombie Slayer always intrigued me because you know Warhammer Undead is always cool. But it's pretty awesome seeing it finally coming out in audio drama. Pretty excited about this.
Is it voiced by your favorite guy?
Oh, 100%. I would not care otherwise. If this was voiced by some other loser narrator, or yeah, I would not care. But Jonathan Keeble will be helming this, from what I know. Yes, Travis knows.
Love some Jonathan Keeble.
Oh yeah.
It's the only thing. That's the only thing John will have read to him. It's Jonathan Keeble.
Yes.
Hey, that's good stuff. My favorite is Toby Longworth, but I appreciate
He's pretty
some
solid.
good
Yeah,
yeah.
he's pretty solid.
So we got that. We got the compendium book of a bunch of short stories for 2024 story anniversary. So if you want to see what some stories are about, pick that up. Warhammer Plus looks like a battle report between Dwarves and Nagash. We already know who's gonna win that. And Lore Master in 30k and painting. So that's that. We got a couple more models we need to go through here. Heresy Thursday. This is John's department. We got a guy with a minigun.
This is cute. Blood Angel upgrades. I mean, Blood Angels are on the back burner right now. I actually kind of hate these low key because of the contact points. I hate when you have the hands are separate and the arms are separate, and you're gonna position the model right so they match the arms. Now, if they're keyed, it'd be fine, but these are not keyed. That I know because they're resin. So yeah, not a fan of the two-handed weapons here. I mean, they look great. I will say, but I really wish they were just glued to one or attached to one hand, so they were easier to pose. But I mean, yay for Blood Angels. I'm a Blood Angel player, but again, the fact that they're two contact points makes me not happy.
I agree with you on that one. So yeah, we got that. We'll go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is the new model Monday. We got some guy, bounty hunter from Delak, who can literally become a shadow. And yeah,
so
if it wasn't Forge World Resin, I'd pick this up in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Dude, he's got the blue skull butterfly knife, Matt. Look at that.
The Maul butterfly knife, yeah.
Some real Maul ninja shit.
They're gonna let that down, huh?
But
yeah, this is a very nice model. I like it. I would definitely pick it up. I'm making it an assassin in my army.
Yeah. Easy Calidus or something.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll pick it up in the future. Probably not, but it is a very good model. So I do enjoy it. I do appreciate the love that Necromunda always gets. But let's move on. So this wasn't announced at ITC, or LVO, I should say, but ITC will now be part of Warhammer. Exciting, isn't it?
Managed by Games Workshop.
Yeah.
I know you have more to say on this one, Travis.
Well, when we first heard it, I thought they were taking over the like actual events. So I was cautiously optimistic that, because I have opinions on frontline events. They, are a certain like quality standard that could be a little higher for how much you pay for it. But if GW takes it over, or is at least managing the ITC, maybe there'll be a chance that the events will be a little bit nicer, a little bit more regulated. Would be really cool. Especially just coming off the heels of LVO with it's just not doesn't feel like a premium experience when you can't even get yourself a bottle of water from anywhere except for the bar for like $5 for like a 6-ounce bottle of water. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
But
like it's exciting though. It should be interesting. I mean, ITC I think is or I guess Frontline is maybe taking a backseat to focus on. I haven't read this article yet because I probably should have, but maybe they're taking a backseat to work on their game they just released, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm excited though.
Bloodthorn Throne.
Yeah, Blood Throne.
Isn't ITC independent tournament circuit?
It used to be.
Right. They changed it to international.
They changed it, I think, right between 7th and 8th edition, I believe. They changed it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I think it's time we get to the main event, boys.
Let's do it.
LVO previews. So, now let's just jump into it, and then we'll give our final thoughts. So, starting with the first thing we got here. Kill Team. Yeah, I don't know why. It should have been Mandrakes, but I think when I asked you if the Night Lords had been released, I thought you said yes. So the Mandrakes did not enter my mind. But yeah, here we go. We've already given our thoughts on it. Do you want to give your thoughts on the Night Lords really fast, Travis?
On the Night Lords?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's do a quick little scroll here through these bad boys. Amazing, beautiful, gorgeous. Oh, that Poison Blade is fucking. These look fantastic. I love them. They're fucking great.
So, all inconsistent. That it's all great. All great for the Night Lords.
Yeah.
The real reveal, the Mandrakes, and I like it. Insta buy for me. It's a shame that Jukari right now are just utter dog shit right now. So
I might split the box with you, actually. If you haven't found anyone yet.
I mean,
these Night Lords are like amazing.
I could always use more Mandrakes.
Yeah. I was like, of him only buying one box? We'll see.
Yeah. They're gonna look great in black and gold.
I mean, I already got someone who wants to split, so I can get another 5 Mandrakes. I'm just saying, or 10 Mandrakes.
You get 10, no, in the box.
I could use another 10.
There you go.
They're so sick. Yeah, this is I don't play either of these armies, but man, these are very tempting. They look so cool.
Yeah, the Night Lords are really good. The Mandrakes, they did an amazing job, but I'm gonna be honest. The old Mandrakes are not hard to, make any better. So, yeah, right now the current Mandrakes are resin. I know they updated the Mandrakes, right?
No.
They haven't updated the Mandrakes?
Mandrakes are still resin, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. So yeah, the Mandrakes are still resin. They're all mana posed, and they all look exactly the same. Yeah. So I am excited that I can finally get something cooler and better, and up to the new GW standard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not as cool as the 3rd edition Mandrakes, obviously.
Well, I don't think anything can beat that.
They're terrible, listeners.
But yes, I am excited. It sounds like I've already got 2 people to give me their mandrakes, so I'll have 20 mandrakes. I'll have a how many mandrakes do I have? I feel like I
Bro.
already have 30.
All Mandrake army, let's go.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. Kill Team once again. Well, actually, the last one was pretty disappointing. Scorpions were nice. The scouts were whatever. This one, knocking it out of the park. Good job, Kill Team. A good old 10 out of 10 on my book, and then of course you get this little piece of terrain for some reason that they were advertising.
I don't think the terrain comes with a box. I think it's just another box that they're gonna come out with. I do like. Oh, you're right. It comes with this random terrain piece.
Yeah,
but not a full board, which I prefer. I prefer these box sets where it's literally just the models and that's it. So
well, you had to have bought that Scorpion and Scout one. That's the terrain that this one goes with.
yeah, there you go.
And if so this LVO we didn't make it to the pre-event, so we just went home and watched it on Twitch or whatever. And I do like watching the Twitch chat as they make their comments. And I think the comments on this was that in the grim dark future there's only scaffolding that we fight for. Oh god.
Yes.
Because it's nothing but railings that we all fight on, which they could make it more interesting terrain wise, but don't want to make it a hassle either to move your models through.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't make it too elaborate sometimes, but I am excited, so I mark this up as a win.
Same.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next thing, we got the Night Haunt, or sorry, Warcry here. So Night Haunt and then the High Elves.
Oh, these are high elves? Okay.
Yeah,
these are hot.
These are High Elves. But we're looking at the Night Haunt here. 10 out of 10. These are great looking models.
These are amazing.
I loved it. I love the lore. I like the new models that they're giving us.
I like how that guy has like his like torch shotgun because he's a ghost and there's no guns that ghosts use. So firing some his little torch there. Yeah, this is great. My gosh, he always knocks us out of the park.
Yeah, and then I forgot what these guys are. These Banshees? I don't really remember.
I guess so, yeah.
The ones with the white robing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're sick.
And of course you got the main guy who is like some priest trying to lead people to the light, and then Nagash got a hold of him and he's like, "You're not gonna lead him down to me." Because Nagash he's such a stand-up guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited because I'm a Night Haunt player, so obviously this got me excited.
And the high elves look pretty cool. They're very different from what we see with the Lumineth. Typically, they're fully armored and kind of like rigid. Still like kind of lithe because they're elves, but these look kind of like give me the Harlequin vibes almost.
Yeah.
Especially with the masks,
It's basically what the Twitch chat was saying Harlequins.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna
Harlequins are-
substitute these for Harlequins.
Yep. Yeah, these are cool.
Yeah, these are lame, but I've always had a big hatred for these high elf models, so
That's fair. At least you're consistent.
take my opinion with a grain of salt.
Matt likes his high elves in space, like a true connoisseur.
Exactly. All right, only the best kind.
This leader guy with like the trident and like the horse helmet, it's fucking cool. It's pretty cool. The rest of them look like they work at Cirque du Soleil. But they're still, I mean, they're really nice models. The posing's super cool and dynamic. I love it.
Yeah.
But yep, that's coming out. They also showed off this Salon terrain piece.
Dude, it's so cool looking.
Way cooler than the StarCraft like supply depot from
Yeah.
last article.
Yeah, dude. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's painted beautiful, so it looks amazing. Yeah, this is coming out as well. Nice terrain piece. Obviously, Brian the Flood is the new book that's coming out, the Warband tome. I'll put my biases away and I'll say that Warcry got a W. This is nice.
100%.
I mean,
And you know what? To further that, it's even more of a W, I think, because it's factions. It's one of the main factions, not just like variation of Chaos Worshipper. Which, don't get me wrong, I enjoy those, right? But you know, to Warcry started as just a game of Chaos Worshippers and their different cosplays, and now that it's been out for several years, I like that they're branching out even more to the main factions, especially these which are straight up just of the main factions. Because if you look at stuff like the samurai vampires, or even the cities of Sigmar guys, well, actually not less than more like I'm thinking of the samurai vampires, and yeah, and what's it called, the chaos dwarf god worshippers. Like they clearly belong in their respective factions, but they're kind of not kind of their own thing in a way. Well, these would fit at home, like a unit of the Night Haunt shotgunner guy, would fit right at home with the faction. So I'm glad that they're going towards more of this direction of making, essentially kill teams for the main factions, like in 40K.
I agree. Because definitely want to put this in my 2,000 point when I start up my Night Hunt army again.
There you go.
So I'll make room for these boys. But yeah, there we go. That's a W so far. What they've been showing, WW. Our predictions have been 1-1 basically. We got the Mandrakes Warband out. We completely got this one wrong, so we'll see what we move on. Moving on to the next thing. 40K. 40K got a lot of things, but only really one thing, and that is Kroot.
Yeah, baby.
Lots and lots of Kroot.
Apparently half of the Kroot that they have coming.
Yep, there's more Kroot to come. And they even said, with the units that they're getting, you can even start an all Kroot army.
Oh, God. My wallet just creaked.
Mine is sitting nice and close under a pile of rocks, so it ain't moving. But yeah, so we're getting a Kroot box called the Kroot Hunting Pack. It's gonna have my favorite thing, like they're doing with the Dark Angels. Buy the box, get the codex early.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yes. What a delightful practice.
Yeah, it's just like I told you earlier, Modern gaming. Pay me $100, play the game 3 days early. Except for this, you get to play like a month early, because it's usually a month after this box comes out that they release the codex.
Yeah.
And I just find it funny that we are back to 4th edition codex cover for the Tau.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, baby.
I saw that and I was like, huh, that looks familiar.
Like, can we not give the Tau anything different? Like, it's a good art piece. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's a good art piece. But we've already had this art piece.
See, Matt, your issue is that you are not Game Workshop's target demographic anymore. You're an old man, and they are advertising towards these hip young kids out here who have never heard of what did you say, 4th edition? I don't even know what the fuck that is, bro. So this looks cool. This is the first time I've ever seen it. That's how they all gonna react to it. Everybody's gonna love it.
I mean, you ain't wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I said when I first saw it. Back in my day.
Damn, this is sick.
Said I went with the one with the guy with the plume on his head. The
Mhm.
giant ass sword. I was like, yeah, this is my army. So yeah, we're getting that. The first thing they showed off, the Shaper. The Shaper is no longer gonna be a unit leader. It'll be its own character now. There's gonna be
Which makes
multiple
sense.
Shapers. So we got this Shaper. And then they show the variants like with a bow and a little spinny boomerang, little
Dude, the
fidget
bow one
spinner.
is it's so cool, man. It's so fucking cool. It's like Horizon Zero Dawn and Kroot
Yeah.
had some sort of strange baby and it's like turned into a predator. I love it. It's great. It's fantastic.
So I think this was the War Shaper that we looked at.
Yeah.
And then we got the classic Flesh Shaper. His little mask and his little tongue out there. Like a psychopath. I see that and I just see the Hannibal Lecter, you know?
This reminds me. So I think it was the 3rd edition Tau Codex. There's a you know, the codexes used to have like snippets of like short stories, like a page long. There was one of it was in the Tau Codex. It was this Eldar Guardian squad where they get attacked by Kroot. And the final scene is like the POV character just getting like eaten alive by a Kroot, and I'm like, oh gosh, that is disgusting. And it just gives me those vibes of like, yep, the Kroot look cool, but they eat people.
Wow.
They do eat people.
Delicious.
So we're getting this guy. He's getting his own new model now. Which, I mean, makes sense because last year, I want to say, you know, there was the Kroot Kill Team. Or not Kroot Kill Team, but there was a Kill Team with Kroot in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know if they were all Kroot. I think they were all Kroot.
They're all Kroot.
All
So
Kroot,
it all
yeah.
makes sense. So we're getting that character. He's coming out. And then, yeah, if you got the Kroot Kill Team, now they're finally releasing the box set here. It's all brand new models. So get your blunderbuss.
They have no pants.
Huh?
I just realized they have like no pants.
Well, yeah.
Well, the other dudes have
if you
pants.
look up at the Flesh Shaper and the War Shaper, they got all the pants because they're the
Yeah.
leaders. They make the decisions.
Yes. Leaders get the pants. That makes sense.
Dude, it's like, how could you not paint every single one of these like a Ninja Turtle? I mean,
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love it.
Yes, now they're getting all redesigned, looking cool, looking better.
Dude, look at this like thump gun he has. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love it.
The blunderbuss.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So that's all coming out, and then the return of the Krutox. The Krutox Gunner, which I believe was just a Forge World model.
Yes.
So now it's coming out to plastic. It's got different gun variations. One machine gun, one like sniper rifle, I think, maybe. Or maybe it's just a cannon.
Mouth.
Huh?
And a different mouth.
And a different mouth, yes. It's all multi-kit. That's how they get you.
Yeah, gotta buy 2 if you want both mouths.
That's coming out. And then the newest model. What are these? The Rampagers, I think is what these are called.
Rampagers. So the lore is these are teenage Krutoxes, who are like, you know, crazy and aggressive. So they're more of a melee unit. While the regular Krutox is, you know, it can punch things obviously because it's a giant gorilla looking thing, but also has the gunner on top. Well, these just charge straight into close combat.
So giving the Kroot more close combat options, which, you know, means the Tau finally have some close combat options. Can finally run up and take objectives.
I'm still waiting. Oh, go ahead.
These are either going to be hot garbage or they're going to be so fucking good when they come out.
Checks out.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be good.
Yeah, I think they're going to be nasty, like very good. I feel like they're going to be so fast and have just like it's crazy. I feel like they're going to have scout move. I feel like they're going to play a lot like an 8-bound unit for world leaders, but for Tau, which scares the hell out of me.
Because they're backed up by all these Tau guns.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's amazing.
And you know they're gonna be fast. They're gonna be 10 inches at least.
Oh yeah, you can see. Look at he's got no pants on. You can see all 10 of his inches right there.
Oh my god.
There you go.
All right, so 40K. That's everything. They didn't show off the squat with the custody spear.
Don't you dare.
They didn't show off the orc. I think that was it for 40K
Yeah.
teasers,
the
right?
preview. Yeah, because the other silhouette was a crude, and apparently that silhouette isn't even here. So
Oh,
more
interesting.
hint. Yeah, more
Interesting.
hints to the whatever else is coming out for this unit.
So
Crew battle suit.
exciting.
Come on, don't be bitches. Games Workshop. Give me crew battle suit.
Nah.
Oh,
Give me my Vespids.
Oh, Vespids would be cool.
Vespids would be very awesome.
I want more Vespids. I only have the 5, but I want more. So, besides the crappy practice of GW putting the big box with the codex a month early before release, this is a W. So far, LVO, what we've seen so far, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everything that we want. Then moving on, we have AoS, the Dawnbringer 5. And this was the Daughters of Cain. So I got this one right a little bit.
Yeah. Random prediction you got right.
I mean, it wasn't
Because I just remember
random.
you were just like, oh, I'll predict Daughters of King is my faction, and lo and behold, they got a new model.
Yep, and if you watch the Twitch chat on this one, well, I'll just, John, what was the Twitch chat going for?
I don't remember. Actually, I was playing Magic when this was happening, so I was like looking at my phone occasionally.
I mean, just to take a guess. Just take a guess.
Take a guess.
Just take a guess what the Twitch chat was more interested in about this model.
Oh man, what, the bird? So
John, John, you're so innocent. They were after her feet.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. They
now
wanted.
I see it.
They wanted the toes. Those crazy Twitch viewers, bro.
All you see in the chat was just feet, feet.
Very well painted feet. So,
But
True.
yeah, this is a very cool model. Apparently, she's against Morathi, so I'll probably still pick her up and run her with Morathi, just because it's a
That's
very
hilarious.
cool model. But yeah, she's supposed to be against her.
So she's she's in the Daughters of Cain, but it's like an internal conflict. So she's like an opposing general. Is that?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going by
So,
what they said on Twitch. So
when I was when I was reading the lore. Apparently, she wants to see the future, so she takes this crown and wears it, and the crown made her blind. And I didn't read any further, so I thought the crown made her hair grow longer, so she can't see, because the hair is literally like covering her face. But apparently, the lore is the crown it's kind of
it's in her
an upside down
eyes.
crown, so you wear it and the spikes pierce your head and your eyes, but it makes you
Oh.
like see the future, but you can't see the present or something. But I just thought like, wow, what a very weird crown that just makes your hair grow long, so you can see the future but not the present. Sounds very Warhammer. But the
Yes.
real thing is actually much more grimdark. But yeah, it's a cool model for sure.
Yep, it's a nice model. I'll definitely pick it up in the future when it's sold on its own, because you can get the Dawnbringer box, Shadow of the Crone. It comes with 5 Doom Reavers and 10 witches. Probably they're not witches. I don't remember. I just don't remember what they're called. And then obviously
you could build witches with.
Yeah, and then obviously the big character. So I don't really have any plans. Kind of thought they were gonna reveal more, but
yeah,
I thought it was gonna be 2 factions, one with a leader and one with a leader and a new unit. But it looks like we just got a new character. And I said Daughters Cancel. I was right halfway. The prediction was, half wrong, but I was half right, so
Nailed it.
nailed it. So this was an okay release. If I was more into AoS, I probably could have predicted that it was going to be a Dawnbringers tie-in, but I don't follow it too much, so I don't. No way I would have gotten that. But I'm excited. Cool model. This is like a like a 7 in my book. Pretty good.
I dig it.
Moving on. Next thing we got Underworlds, right? Is this Underworlds?
No, the AoS.
It's still AoS.
It's Cinderfall.
Cinderfall, yes. We got more book characters.
Also randomly predicted this just because, like, I want things for my faction. And, things for my faction. What do you know?
Yes. These are interesting characters. So I guess we got some Undead Cat, Cyber Cat. I don't really know what that is.
That model looks like a 40, like straight up is a 40k model. Like,
Yeah.
if you told me that was a 40k model, I would believe you.
Yeah, if you said this was an Inquisitor, I was like, yeah. Or a Rogue Trader, I'd say, yeah, that's a Rogue Trader. So
yeah, random characters from, and I don't think they're so the novels that they're coming out are they gonna be? Yeah, I think the book is releasing with the
models.
with the models. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So they're not like existing characters. They're great though. I mean, I kind of want to pick these up just to paint them. I mean, I said about a lot of things, but they're a unit for the faction I play. The Stormcast guy is the worst model, I think, because he's just another Stormcast, in my opinion, as someone who owns Stormcast.
Yeah.
But the rest look excellent.
This the double guns guy is so honestly, yeah, they're all. That's crazy how nice they are. They're so detailed.
Yeah, right. Probably gonna be like a 50-point unit or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I would hope they'd be cheap. Because usually the little side units that are from like Warcry or Underworlds are always like total trash in the game.
So is there a reason they all have a key, like keys? Is the or do we? I guess we don't know yet because the book's not out yet.
Maybe it's part of the book, yeah.
Okay.
You gotta read to find out, Travis.
You know I can't read, man. How could you do this to me?
Yeah. You're gonna have to wait for Toby Longworth to read the book to you.
I play 40k. You know I can't read.
So yeah, this is whatever. This is fine. Not excited. I'm not excited for it personally, but
yeah.
It's there. Moving on. Here we go. Here's the Underworlds. This was underwhelming, in my opinion. So we got some.
Yeah, this is neat at best. Mainly because we already saw another zombie themed team. So
Yeah, we got the
they're unique looking zombies. Like they're probably some of the grosser zombies I've seen, because they have body parts sticking out, which is just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's also kind of the lore is kind of funny. So the beast guy is like the boyfriend, and the girlfriend wants to cure him from his curse of being a wolf by learning necromancy.
Gotta learn that dark magic. That's
So
why he's got to go through the Death Gorge in the jungles.
the jungles of the Death Gorge.
To learn. Again, I'm getting all my knowledge from Twitch. That's all the lore that I really remember. But yeah, I'd say I'm pretty disappointed in this. I mean, the models look good. The beast, the werewolf, kind of looks funny. I can't really say what it is, but it just looks a little goofy in my opinion.
Yeah, I like them. They're not my first choice, but I like that the zombies remind me of the first set of new zombies where they had like tombstones on their back. And they were kind of unique in that sense. Like these guys with their bones sticking out, it definitely makes them different from other zombies, and I give them that. But at the end of the day, it's just more zombies.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Warcry / Underworlds, right? You want new, different models. You don't want to have like the same models.
Yeah.
That you can just buy in a box set.
Or have another team, because this is the second Underworlds team with zombies. We've only had. Well, we had two skeletons, but the other skeletons were were Graveguard, but these are just more zombies. So, yeah, it's neat.
Have you had your head to the ground? Do you know anything about Underworlds at this point? Is it so popular at all?
People play it at the local game store I go to, Geeky Tees. Once in a while, every couple weeks, I'll see a group of people play. So it exists, and they still get support. So I mean,
Okay.
it's probably the easiest game to play if you just want Games Workshop miniatures, because it's kind of get the box and you're good to go. So
It just feels like I don't really hear anything about it. I don't think
yeah,
I
it's
saw anything at the LVO about there either.
like
But
an event. Yeah.
then again, I didn't really look for it, so that could be a problem. All right, and then last but not least, John's 30K Solar
Sauce.
Auxiliary.
Yeah.
Now in plastic.
Yeah, this is exactly what it says on the tin, plastic Solar Orks, and they're great. They're absolutely great.
I feel like you should have more to say about this. Are you not that excited for it?
I mean, I think because I have like probably 1,000 points of Solar Ox in resin unbuilt. Okay, I'll talk more about it. I do have a lot to say about this. I mean, they look amazing, and I think giving support to armies that aren't Space Marines in plastic is great, because 30K is more than just Space Marines, right? I mean, primarily it's Space Marines, but there's also a lot of other factions involved, like Solar Ox, Mechanicum, etc. So, giving the humans stuff, I think, is a breath of fresh air with the game, and the models just look great. They're way better than the resin ones. I mean, that Lehman Russ looks excellent, and there's a Sentinel, the heavy Sentinel, that's new. Not my cup of tea, but if you like Sentinels, this is another cool new variant. But yeah, like the Lehman Russ looks amazing. And this is a modern 2024 Lehman Russ. The last time you saw Lehman Russ was in the early 2000s. And yeah, this is great. You got the how do you say this? The Dracosan transport, which is carries 20 guys, so it's like a giant chimera. That looks awesome. You got your mini command squad for your infantry regiments. Plastic Malcador is great. That's a big 30K tank that for the longest time has been in resin. And we're gonna get the elite storm squads with their power axes and volkites and plastic as well. So it's a pretty robust release, which is pretty cool. The thing with this army is you would, like, 90% of the time you will lose to Space Marines, like straight up. They're just so underpowered compared to Space Marines. Which makes sense in the lore. Like I don't recall a story where the humans beat Space Marines handily without Space Marines helping them, so that makes me less excited to play a Solar Ox army. I mean, yeah, it's a narrative game, but like they're just so underpowered compared to Space Marines. It's not even funny. You will get smashed.
So what you're saying is that this is an instant lose. If
This
you
is
pick that
probably
zombie.
an instant lose. Because yeah, even if you take like 12 Lehman Russes, that last cannon squad will probably kill 2 a turn. And we'll kill another one during your turn while you shoot at it. And the moment a Space Marine squad gets into close combat with your last rifles, you'll just evaporate. But if this means more Solar Ox players, this also means more Solar Ox v Solar Ox games, which is what I'm actually pretty interested in. So that makes me hyped to work on my Solar Ox. And again, just seeing an army that isn't Space Marines is pretty cool. Now, I will say that more people will buy this for 40K guard than to play 30K Solar Ox.
Yeah,
Straight up.
so true.
Because they are pimp as hell for model.
Yeah.
Using these in 40K guard. Yeah, these are amazing.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. It's gonna
Yeah.
be pretty good.
This heavy sentinel is so fucking sick, bro.
Yeah, with missiles and all that. Yeah, this looks freaking great. Yeah, I mean, this is easily a 10 out of 10 for Heresy. I wish they came with a rules update that made them more interesting and not just an auto lose to Space Marines, but
So it's just like you put your model on the table and then you find out you're facing Space Marines and then you take your models off. There's
I mean, ideally, right? You play 30K not to win. You play 30K to experience 30K, but you know, you will just die because of the reaction system. Because in 30K there's the reactions, and infantry can just react with no penalty. Vehicles can't really react. Like you can only react with us if your weapon is strength 6 or lower. So if you have your Lehman Russes getting shot up by last cannons, you kind of just can't do shit. And then you shoot at their last cannons, and then they shoot you back, so they get double value in killing you. Yeah, which is lore accurate, and that's the thing where I'm not really mad about it, because that will happen in the lore. You will get smashed by Space Marines, because that's why the Emperor is in the Conquer the Galaxy and not these losers. So, yeah, but again, like I wish this leads to more Solar Ox v Solar Ox games, because that would be super cool. Seeing these different regiments, the traitor and loyalists duking it out, Lehman Russes and all that, and the Malcadors and the infantry tercios. Yeah, this is cool. It's also, a horde army, so this box set is probably like 500 points, maybe less.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, those dudes are like 100 points or something, and then your Lehman Russ is probably like another 150, and your transport's probably 150, and the rest is 100. Yeah, this is probably like 100 points. 500 points. So you probably need what, 4 of these plus more tanks for an army. Even my Solar Ox army that I was building had a Space Marine ally detachment, because there's just there's just so many models you need to do with Solar Ox.
How much?
Again,
how much do you think this box will be?
Probably like $200.
Okay.
So,
All right, so a W on
it's a W. It's a 10 out of 10 W. Regardless of my not misgivings, of my apprehension with Solar Auxilia gameplay wise, like the models are amazing. The fact that it's happening is amazing. It just goes to show that Games Workshop is willing to make plastic things of not Space Marines for Horus Heresy. So in the future, we may see plastic Mechanicum. That would be amazing. More plastic Sisters of Silence stuff. That would be great.
Yeah.
No.
Right,
Super
then.
dub here.
All right then. Well, it sounds like LVO previews were a W this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not too much to complain about. So, I'd say let's get into our experience, Travis.
Sure.
I want to start off with your army. I have it up here on screen.
Yes, sure. So I ran the Emperor's Golden Bananas for their debut tournament.
This is your first tournament with them, right?
This is my first tournament with them, yeah. So the list is Trajan as the Warlord, Valerian as his little sub-commander, and then a Terminator Shield Captain with Ceaseless Hunter. Trajan and Valerian are each with a squad of 5 Wardens with Spears, and then the Shield Captain is with a squad of his own Terminators of 5. Also with Spear, everything's going to have Spears because Axes are god-awful. Unit of 5 Prosecutors, so those are the Bolter Sisters that just sit on objectives and do nothing. A unit of 4 Bolter Sisters. A unit of 4 Flamer Sisters who have a nice little scout move for grabbing me objectives early. 2 units of 3 Venatari for some late game support, and then 2 Assassins for an Eversor and a Calidus for jumping all over the place and also scoring secondaries. So yeah, that's the list. I really enjoyed playing it. I only got I think 5 total practice games, if that, before this tournament, before LVO. So it was pretty spicy. I feel like I played it really well every game. It was mostly the hindrance on all of my losses, other than matchup, were mostly the player place terrain. Is really difficult for an all melee army, if depending on how it gets placed, because you can just get the shot to high health. But yeah, it was really cool.
Want to talk about that ruling?
The
player place.
For player place, yeah. So player place terrain, if you haven't experienced it, is a god awful system.
Does
So
not look
basically,
like something fun.
huh?
Does not sound like something I would want to do just from the name alone.
Yeah, it's basically it turns terrain placement, which is at least in more modern stuff. So like at official GW events, they have a fixed terrain scenario per day, and the missions are designed to cycle through it, but the terrain stays in fixed position through the 3 rounds, right? And then the next day it's changed for a different set of missions. But that means you show up to the table, you just make sure everything's about right, and then you're off to the races, right?
Mm-hmm.
With player placed, you have basically mirrored sets of terrain. So 2 big L's, two small ruins, 2 sets of crates, so on and so forth. And you have quote unquote 30 minutes of prep time you roll off attacker defender. Defender places the first piece of terrain. They changed the ruling this year so that attacker now places 2 pieces after, which helped a little bit. But basically, is you have to place all the terrain, and it turns it into this little mini game, which takes up it takes up time. It really is an important skill to have if you want to win a game of 40K using this system. Which means for like the casual player who doesn't have lots of practice doing player place, that it's super easy to just get completely crushed by somebody who has even a remotely small idea of how to place their terrain that to favor their army. So I don't really like it. I think it's bad. I think it feels like a win more condition for an experienced player.
Yeah,
Um,
it sounds like
and if it's 2 experienced players going together, especially with the fix this year with the place 1 and then followed up by place 2, that basically just evens it out. So it's basically a moot point. The train should be fixed. Period. That's end of conversation. But yeah, it was pretty funky. You can get like I had a guy. My second round opponent was very new and rolled first. He rolled to place terrain first and put his main L in just the most god awful spot. And I literally had to tell him, I was like, if you put that there, you're gonna lose the game. Please do not put it there. And so we moved it together, but it was just, I don't know, it's just such a feels bad mechanic, and I can't express how much I dislike it enough.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, especially because I'll just say I didn't read the tournament pack, so I didn't even know it was gonna be player place terrain. But I've been playing with the fixed GW terrain
Yeah.
for the coming up months, and that is just so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice. It's even. It's hides your army well enough, and it just takes the thinking process of putting a terrain piece somewhere completely out. Right
Yeah.
now, it's just like I gotta place my army correctly instead of having to worry about terrain.
Yeah.
Which if you're a pro player, it could take a little bit longer. If you're like me, you're just like, yeah, this looks like it looks good right here. I just place my terrain wherever. Don't think, just place.
it just
But
sounds like another thing to worry about when you're
Yeah.
playing the game. Like,
yeah,
because you
I
already have
mean,
your army, you already have this learning your army, the opposing army. There's that skill set, and then there's like building a good map. And like proper terrain placement. Like I play a lot of competitive Star Wars Legion, and having a good map is part of having a good tournament. But if the map favors certain armies over the others, I mean that's just kind of part of it. If the conventionally thought of map setup is a certain way and it gives certain armies strengths and others weaknesses, I think it's just part of it.
Yeah.
Like for example, in Legion right now, cover is really easy to get, so people are tending to not place as much scatter terrain because it's so easy to get cover, and that's just part of the game now. I can imagine like setting up a table every game. Like if I was playing against like Ewoks or something, or if I played like a melee or even a gunline skew, yeah, that sounds nuts. Of just like winning the game on terrain placement, which is bizarre to me. You know,
Yeah.
player place terrain. Yeah, not a fan
It's
of that. I'm
it's
hearing about it.
exhausting. It's
yeah,
exhausting.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over your games quickly?
Sure. Yeah. So let me just bust out my little app here. So Round one. So round one, Matt and I both had good luck at the draw, but I can't wait for you to tell them what you got. There are currently 2 boogeymen in competitive 40k, and well, I guess 3 now, but before going in, there was 2 boogeymen, and one of those is Eldar, and the other one is Chaos Space Marines. My first opponent was running Chaos Space Marines because spicy stuff. My opponent's name was Elizabeth. She was really cool. She had it was 6 obliterators. No, 8 obliterators total. A unit of 4 and 2 units of 2. A Forge Fiend, and then a couple Rhinos full of Chosen, smattering of characters, a couple Nurglings to hold objectives. The usual chaffy stuff. But man, that blob of 4 obliterators just insta juiced my 6-man Terminator blob on the top of turn 2, and it was pretty rough. There's literally nothing I can do about it other than screening, but you can't screen everywhere. Again, especially with player place terrain, it's really hard to make sure that there's just no firing lanes. But it wasn't like a feels bad game or anything, because I knew exactly what was going to happen the minute we got paired. And she was a super cool opponent. She introduced me to the concept of Battle Shock babies, which I guess at LVO this year, people were just handing out little weird tokens of random various things. Like another opponent I played later on had a gnome. She was handing out little tiny blue plastic babies. It was really fun. It was a great game. I had a great time. I think I was tabled by the bottom of 3, though. Which is impressive against a double Warden Brick list. It's very impressive to do. So much firepower. Game 2, I played into a Dark Eldar player. He was very new to the game. Took a really long time. This game, I really wish I had a chess clock. It felt like one of the. I have a bad habit of, if somebody's new, I will help them out, and I just have to stop doing it too much. Like, being nice and making concessions is one thing, but it turns into kind of playing the game for them, which is unfortunate. It was a super close game, but we didn't make it past, I think, turn 3, and we still had a good chunk of both our armies left. So that was like the lowest quality game I think I played. All the others were very good. Third game and last of day 1 was into John with his Grey Knights. He was a British fellow from LA, which I thought was really funny. This was such a good game. It felt like playing 40 chess, as I had to attempt to predict where he was going to be dropping in his 10-man paladin blobs, and preemptively go there with my units so that I could react, because I only move 6 on the Wardens and 5 on the Terminators. So
I think I know of that guy. He said John from LA, British dude.
Yeah.
At Geeky, maybe did he say where his local store was?
I think he said he played it next gen most, but I think he also said he gets around to most of them. I think he went to Geeky Tees also.
Yeah, because I remember hearing some British guy playing 40k every once in a while. It's the same guy. So I wonder if that's him.
He's a shortish guy, not a lot of hair on his head, and if I recall correctly, he was wearing glasses as well. It was very nice, super nice guy. Again, just another super stand-up opponent. This game was insane. It was super close until the bottom of 4, but he was able to make a huge swing with one of his 10-man paladin squads, and I had overcommitted my Terminators to the other side in an effort to prevent him from coming in on that side, but then he could come in on the other side because they pop all over the place. We traded home objectives a bunch. It was really good. It was a really close game, but he managed to pull it out in the end with on turn 5. So props to him. So we've seen a pattern here. We're 0-3 so far, baby. Let's go.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. So day 2, game 1. This was my favorite game of the tournament. And this was again to Brian and his 1,000 Sons. So it was the great showdown of Magnus in the middle of the table versus all 6 Terminators, and of course they couldn't kill Magnus. But basically it didn't really matter. I leveraged my scout moves to pull him onto the objectives closest to me. And I think he overextended in doing that to take control of the objectives again, and then I just counterattacked and blew him the fuck up, and it was good. It was a good game. So that was our first W for the Golden Boys. Game 7,
Game
or no,
7.
excuse me, Game 5 of the other odd number. Game 5 was into Miguel and his Space Wolves. At this point, I was so tired. I don't think any of my food had digested from lunch yet. I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't my best game. This was not my best performance. It was pretty bad. But not to take away from Brian, from Miguel, he was a great opponent. He played his Space Wolves, so many Thunderwolf Cavalry, so many devastating wounds from was it Herald Deathwolf and a bunch of Eliminators. Man, dude, so crazy how much damage those thing output. But he pulled it out. It was pretty close. But we just another game we didn't quite finish on time. I played against a lot of like newer people, so like timing was an issue a lot, unfortunately. So yet another reason I just need to invest in a chess clock.
Could always borrow mine, brother.
That's true. Did you bring yours to LVO?
No, but I mean,
Okay.
Bring it next time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. And then so that was another defeat. So at this point, I'm 1-4, and just I'm praying for something good in my last game. And I got paired into Andrew, who was a Smite Club player from Arizona, and he had his Imperial Knights, and I was feeling pretty confident about it because, yeah, I got my ruin set up perfectly. I could just sit on objectives. He had to come to me, and then I just jumped out. I had had all 3 bricks behind my center ruin, and he had to commit because we had like the way he set up his ruin to try to like make fire. He tried to make firing lanes, and then I like counter put ruins down, so it made this like huge choke point in the middle, and all of his big knights couldn't get through the point at the same time, so he could only assault me with one at a time, and I just went in and I neutered one knight down to 2 wounds, picked up 3 little ones in one turn, and then the next turn I came in with the second wave with the Terminators, killed another big knight, and then shot the wounded one to death, and then that was basically the game. Which is funny that I shot it to death because I don't have a single gun in my army that's higher than Strength 5. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good game. I think the final score on that one was like a 94-50, so that was a blowout. But yeah, it was good. Overall, it was a great tournament in terms of like opponents were great. I felt like the army played really well. I was like really happy with how the list played. Again, the front line side of things, just the not having ready access to free water, and like I don't know, it's just the overall quality. Like if you're playing on the way far back tables, by the end of day 2, you can barely hear because of all the yelling and how loud it is in the hall. And there's like only the speakers way up at the front. And if you have never been to LVO, this hall is fucking massive. It's huge. So it's like, picture you're in like your school gymnasium during a sporting event, and like they only have 2 little speakers at one end to make all the announcements. Nobody would fucking hear anything except the people sitting closest to it, and it's not a very good setup. But highlight though, War Games Live was there. He got the main stream table. Love Joe, great dude. Love watching his channel. Go watch it. War Games Live on YouTube. It's fantastic. Also, Frontline should pay him money for doing that kind of thing. Just saying. Check it out.
Yeah, that's pretty much my experience in terms of the LVO spot. The fact that they ran out of water, that's kind of ridiculous. This is like the second time we've been to LVO where this has happened.
Yeah, and it ran out by round 3, day 1, which is just madness.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. On the plus side, since the Rio was under construction the last 2 years, it finally got a new food court.
Yeah,
I know Travis didn't really get to experience it.
It's true, yeah.
But they finally have more options other than just the Rio catering to us. Though the breakfast bowl, that was pretty fire.
Dude, Rio, if you're listening to this, I know you are. That breakfast bowl, good shit.
All right, I guess I will go.
Yeah.
So I ran my good old Eldari. I was one of the boogeymen. I was part of the problem. So, but I didn't run the boogeyman list. I ran mine complete aspect warriors. So I had some scary units in there, but not as bad as what the meta was. And do not worry, I will be repeating the Eldar meta to you many, many times. So I'll just quickly go over my list here. So I got the Solitaire, the Autarch, Wayleaper with a Spear, Spinner, and Mandy Blasters. I also gave him the Phoenix Gem, so he can come back to life if he dies on a 2+. My bread and butter, the Avatar of Cain. Have to run him. I ran Karandris, the Phoenix Lord, with a unit of 10 Scorpions, and with an Exarch with a Scorpion's Claw. I ran 15 Warp Spiders, 3 squads of 5. I ran 5 Shadow Specters with the Phoenix Lord Aerith. I also ran Fuegan with 5 Fire Dragons with a Fire Pike. And they would be accompanied by a Falcon with a Pulse Laser, Star Cannon, and Shuriken Cannon. As well as Guardians with a Star Cannon and a Farseer. And oops, that's all my goodies. And then I ran 3 Shroud Runners. Just to snipe some characters or get some fast objectives. So that was my list. I thought it was pretty fun, pretty fluffy, since I'm doing Bieltan. So that's what I ran. Oh boy, alright, let's go through my first game.
Oh baby, here it comes. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear this.
So, my first game. I got a mirror match. I went against Eldar. Now, I'm just gonna give my experience, okay? I don't look into the meta lists. I just play like what I want to play, and I have fun with it. I'll incorporate some meta stuff, but usually what Travis tells me, because he's, he has his pulse on the competitive side, so he'll let me know what's good and what's not. But overall, I like to just play what I like to play. So I don't really know the competitive other than Night Spinners were, godlike.
Mm-hmm.
So, first list. I go against Eldari. Opponent's name is Austin. He's running 2 Night Spinners. I'm going to mess up his army list because I don't really remember it all. 2 Night Spinners, 1 Swooping Hawk unit, 2 Shadow Specters, a Yinkarn, a big blob of 10 Wraithguard, and Fuegan, and I think that's it. I probably missed something, but that's basically the army. So, for those who don't know, Night Spinners are monsters because they are indirect fire. They are heavy, so they hit on a 2+ if they do not move. But, they're most likely going to be hitting on 3s just because they're going to shoot indirect, which gives you a -1. So, he's bombarding me from the back lines. The big 10 blob of Wraithguard are bullies. Do not forget that. They are bullies. Usually have a Spirit Seer with them. So I'm pretty sure he had Spirit Seer because that gives devastating or lethal hits on a 6+. They're bullies. So the big thing you do with them is you put them in the center of the board and you just camp that middle objective and just eliminate anything that gets close to it. So I had a pretty good time against my opponent here. I sent some Scorpions up there to try to deal with them Wraithguard. Sent my Avatar up there. He just positioned well. And, Eldar shenanigans where you spend 1 command point and you just flee combat. And then, what's that? You're going to get 10 10 Wraithguard are gonna shoot my avatar. All right, well then goodbye avatar. Into the warp you go. So that was pretty much my experience. I couldn't really do too much. He just very oppressive. All my characters were dying. I put up a meager fight. I made it out with like 58 points, but 48 points I think it was what I got, and he basically tabled me by the end of turn. By the start of turn 3, he basically had me tabled because he's just outputting so much damage, doing too much. So unfortunately, I got the L first round. Second game, I get to fight more Eldari. And guess what? It's basically the same exact list that I'm fighting. This one I did a little bit better. I still lost. I was able to go in, take out his Wraith Wob. I took out Fuegan turn 1. He failed his revive save on a 2+, so that helped out. I took out the Wraithguard, but the thing was his Night Spinners and just the damage output he was putting out, he was just taking everything away from me. All my little chaff units, the Yin-Karn coming in, sweeping up some units in my back line. It was just too much. So unfortunately, I took the L there. That game lasted all 5 rounds. That was a lot closer game. I think it was like I lost by like 20 points. So it wasn't that bad of a game, but yeah, what everyone was taking against me was teleport home, assassination, and yeah, I guess deploy teleport homers, right? That's the one that gets you like max points if you do it in the back line.
Yeah, that's one you can either do on the center objective or in their deployment zone.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone kept using against me. Just those two, because I had, if you remember my list, I have a lot of characters, so especially when they come back to life. So I took the L on that one, so I'm already 0-2. And then the final match of day 1, I got paired against Iron Hands, and I was praising the Lord. I was thanking the avatar. I was like, thank God I do not have to fight another Eldari player. He had like 9 Dreadnoughts, 3 Redemptions, 3 Doritos. I think it might just been 2 Brutalists. I think it was 2. So 8 Dreadnoughts. He had 3 characters. No, he had 3 the Tech Marines, one of them being the Forge Father. He had a 10-man blob of heavy intercessors with biologists in there and the captain in there.
Okay. Spicy.
I feel a little bad knowing what happened. So apparently, I don't know all the rules for the armies, but I guess Dreadnoughts reduce damage by 1.
Yeah.
And my opponent did not play with that rule, and I didn't know about that rule. So I was out there destroying Dreadnoughts left and right, and he didn't subtract 1, so some Dreadnoughts probably should have lived a little bit longer than they should have. But unfortunately, I took the win on that one. Not by much, but I did take the win. He still had 5 Dreadnoughts left on the board that I just couldn't deal with.
That's crazy.
He took turn 1, both of the moment my avatar, who was out in the open, because just due to the player place terrain, it's like, where am I gonna hide him? Cannot hide him anywhere. So I left my avatar out in the open, hoping that I can get like a turn 1 charge. He like moved his 10-man intercessors, heavy intercessors up to where my avatar could like charge him if he lived. And yeah, he unloaded everything into my avatar. My avatar, by the end of that first turn shooting, had 3 wounds left. So I barely made it through. And yeah, my avatar just went to town. He shot his melt-to-gun, The great thing about cheesy Eldar, you know, you get the fate dice, so you can spike your dice. So I'm like, my avatar, I'm gonna roll 6 to auto hit, so D3 shots, and so it's like, all right, so I get 4 Melta shots from my gun here, and yeah, that's 1 dead Brutalist. And then I charged into the heavy intercessors with like everything. Get my solitaire in there to precision his apothecary and try to kill his captain. But yeah, by the end of that, my avatar had killed 3 dreadnoughts all on his own until he finally got gunned down. But that was a fun game. I enjoyed it just because it wasn't fighting Eldari. That was the thing.
Yeah.
So
Who would ever want to play into Eldar?
I know, right? The guy was like super happy, and then I said I was playing Eldar, and then his face just went, oh. I'm like, have you fought Eldar already? He's like, no, I haven't fought Eldar already, but I've heard the stories. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'm not that Eldar player, so you're okay.
You're a criminal, Matt.
Hey, it's fine. So day 1, I ended off with 1 win. And that night, as we had our dinner, the pairings went up. And guess who I was fighting next round, John?
Necrons.
No, I was fighting Eldari.
Nice.
I had to fight Eldari again. This was a little bit different, which I think is why I had a better chance against it. So his list was 3 Night Spinners, 1 Swooping Hawk Squad, 2 Warp Spiders, Farseer on his own. He didn't have any Guardians or anything. The 10-man blob of Wraithguard with a Spirit Seer, and Avatar and a Yinkarn. So, I mean, the Avatar and the Yinkarn by themselves, that's already like almost half your army right there with how many points those 2 models are. But yeah, that guy, day 2, that guy gave me like really bad energy. I don't know if it was just because he was on a losing streak or what happened, but you know, be a little nice. Is all I'm saying. Don't, because you know, we're at the losing bracket, right? I'm 1 and 2, which means my opponent is 1 and 2. Like, we're not making it to the top tables. You might as well have fun, especially if you made it, if you came back for day 2. So, yeah, he was giving me some bad energy. He flubbed some rules, which I had confirmed with my, you know, gaming group, that he did some stuff that shouldn't have happened, but it's whatever in the end. But yeah, I was able to just focus fire his avatar. He got first turn, so he moved up. His avatar. No, I got first turn, so I moved my scorpions up to try to get to charge his what's it called? Big blob of Wraithguard.
Mm-hmm.
So I failed, so I just took the objective. This was the mission where characters score more points if they are on the No Man's Land objectives.
Ah, yes, the
So,
supercharge objective ones.
Yeah, so I got my scorpions into the middle objective, and that was pretty much it. I positioned my warp spiders in a position to where he can't, like, if he moves close enough, I can overcharge or overwatch him on something. And he wanted to character snipe my Autarch because I put him out in the open because, you know, he's lone operative, so he can't be shot by anything. Yeah. But he warp jumped 1 warp spider unit in front of him, but positioned it so it would be out of line of sight of my warp spiders.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm gonna overwatch with my Autarch because he has a death spinner, so he can still do damage. And yeah. The problem is I rolled a 6, and I did 5 wounds. And I almost killed the squad. The only thing left was an Autarch. I mean, an Exarch. So that helped me out a lot. Doesn't help that the Exarch has, 2d6 shots. So still a lot of damage it could do. But I took that out. He moved his avatar. He wiped out my entire Scorpion squad except for Carandaris. Didn't teleport the Incarn, but that's fine. But his avatar moved up, and I just like warp jumped all my spiders in front of the avatar, and I just laid hell into it to kill it. But yeah, he kind of just let me roam free. By the end of the game, all he had left was the big blob of Wraithguard. I still had basically my entire army left. I had lost my avatar because it finally died, but yeah, I stomped him, and I felt good. I didn't feel bad because he was putting out that bad energy. So I did that. Round 2, I finally got to find round 5. I've had some Tyranids. That was fun. He was basically Godzilla army. I unfortunately I tabled him, but I still lost because there was objectives that I didn't claim. So that kind of screwed me over in the end. I lost by like 12 points. But I tabled him on turn 5. So he was just shooting his little soccer ball into the corner of the field and just doing deploy objectives in the back. So not much I could do about that. And then the last round was against Black Templar. This was the Mega Blob of Black Templar that's going around right now. I severely underestimated what they could do. So I lost my avatar in a turn 1 shooting. So I was like, ooh, this is bad. So I tried to course correct some things here. My opponent was a little bit buzzed. I mean, it was the end of the tournament. He was a little bit buzzed, a little bit stoned. So
Amazing.
I tried to. He has this. What is it? The redemption? Not the redemption. What's the
Land Raider Redeemer.
Oh, Redeemer.
Redeemer? Yeah, there you go. And the Land Raider Redeemer, which is like super good. Strength 6, AP 2, 2 damage.
Yes, it is.
So first turn I teleported some warp spiders to take like the middle objective, but I also wanted to get in range, so I didn't know it did that. Like I knew it had flamers, like I knew that, but I didn't realize the damage on it.
Yeah,
it's like 2d6 plus 6 damage. I mean, dice rolls. I was like, oh shit. So I lost that warp spiders in the very beginning there. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna move my my scorpions within this range, so I'm not in range of your Overwatch. He measures it. He's like, looks like you're like half an inch in there. I'm like, oh, so I'm just gonna move big. So I'm just gonna Overwatch you right now. And it's like, I'm like, okay, if that's how we're gonna play, I quit. So I basically just gave up in my last round. I suicide my army into his big blob of death, and I was just like, all right, you win. Good luck. So it was a very sour way to end my my gaming day there. But other than that, besides game, I had like one good game on day 2. Other than that, everything was pretty fun. I liked it. Even if I had to fight Eldari 3 times. My 4 out of my 6 opponents were like really cool. Yeah, so I had fun at the end of the day, because end of the day I get to hang out with my boys. We get to go explore in Vegas and see what's up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next year. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. Hopefully they can afford water to feed us. I want to talk about the bazaar really fast here. So John, you went to the 2023, right?
Yes.
Now the bazaar. Can you describe it a little bit?
It was like in the corner. Well, there was this. You mean the used section or the whole bazaar?
The whole bazaar.
So I remember there was this giant kill team action toys board. There was the game next to the Games Workshop section. They had the Forge World stuff. Conquest was there. Privateer Press. There was the U section in the back. Some other like third party stores with their widgets and gadgets and terrain pieces and all that.
Okay, so they expanded it, so it's very nice. I want to talk about the U section. Describe the U section really fast.
The U section was a bunch of bins with just random items in plastic bags. It was kind of cool actually to see what they had. Sometimes it would just be like some crappy bit. Sometimes it was a full like rhino for like $5 or something, or maybe a full box with the shrink wrap gone and everything's in there.
Yeah, this U section, this was like the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Oh really?
It was so bad. Like, the U section has always been pretty bad, in my opinion, for Warhammer. For anything else, it's been pretty good. Like Star Wars Legion, I got a lot of good deals last year. But there was like nothing well, that interested me, right? There was no
Right.
Eldari, there was no like Black Templar. The stuff that you wanted me to find, there was nothing there.
Mm.
The stuff that another one of my friends wanted me to find, some like Necrons and a Mutilith Beast, nothing there.
Wow.
Even in the unopened boxes, I'm pretty sure, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but last year it was like 20-25% off, right, on the boxes.
Yeah, I think so.
It was only 10% off on the boxes this year.
Ooh, that sucks.
So you weren't
Yeah.
even getting a good deal. Not that they had a lot
It was
compared
pretty
to last
sparse.
year.
Yeah.
They had like a lot of Cursed City. They had some Voton boxes, I think. But yeah, it wasn't much this year. But
yeah.
But in terms of the bazaar, they expanded the bazaar, so it was no longer limited to that one room.
Okay.
Now they had the whole hallway leading to the Amazon room to set up shops. So there was a little more shopping to do in there. So, it's your standard stuff. People selling you tokens, rulers, dice, other games. Creature Cast was in the hallway.
Okay.
Duncan was there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Tooth and Coats, yeah, the man himself.
Oh
So
wow,
cool.
dang, that made me want to go. I love his paints.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun to explore. It was just a little disappointing in the store. Baron of Dice was there. So, I picked up a sticker. I picked up these 3 stickers here. I picked up some dice. Pretty fun.
Yeah, there was a really interesting store. There was a like vintage or like vintage collectible Warhammer books. Yeah, so it was like a rare bookstore, but only for Warhammer. So he had like OG prints of like like fantasy novel. He had like I think first or second edition Eisenhorn original trilogies for like a couple $100, and but like all like shrink wrapped in a really nice condition.
Oh,
It was
wow.
crazy. It was like that's far above what I'm gonna do for that kind of thing. But I thought it was really interesting to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, the bazaar this year was like, even if there wasn't like more necessarily more new stuff, it felt more interesting to walk around. I think we walked around it like 7 times over the course of the weekend, and like it felt like I saw something new every time, as opposed
Okay.
to the last few years when it's like you've been through once and it's like, well, that's about that.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Was nice. So let's see. We talked about that. I think we just need to talk about the winner of the LVO, because I know Travis really wants to talk about it. So let me get the appropriate picture up here. Go right ahead, Travis. Talk about it really fast for our viewers.
That was pretty fun. So we weren't in the hall for the 3rd day because we are pro gamers, so obviously we're out by round 6. But day 3 is games. what is it, 8, 9, and 10 now, since they've added the 7th game for the top 16 on day 2. But basically, in the finals, the final showdown was the dreaded Eldar, run by Folger Pile, I believe is how you say his name, and into Matt Laura and his Necrons. Matt Laura, I believe it was 2 years ago, was on the top table, but did not make it all the way with his Custodians. His back when they were, fucking crazy good. He lost to Siegler with his Admech. So this game was so spicy. Eldar got top of turn, spread out, push the Wraithguard forward. All the waves, the Night Spinners are in ruins. The little Gribbly, he had 1 unit of Warp Spiders, 2 units of Swooping Hawks, 1 unit of Swooping Hawks pushed out to aggressively grab an objective for Secure No Man's Land. And bottom of one, the Necron player drew capture enemy outpost, and I think he also got Secure No Man's Land. But regardless, he got capture enemy outpost, and he picked up at the end of his opponent's turn. He picked up his monolith, because he had a monolith in his list, because it's amazing. You're gonna hear, if you're listening to this, you're gonna hear everybody talking about this. He picked it up and he deep struck it within 3 inches with the strat in the very back corner behind his opponent's army, and a bunch of Immortals and Immotech got out, and then just the Immortals picked up 5 Swooping Hawks. They picked up the Autarch that was right next to them. So they picked up the Wayleaper, they picked up 5 Swooping Hawks. The ones that had pushed aggressively on the board got picked up by other Immortals, and then the Monolith itself rolled extremely hot on its Death Rays and picked up one of the Night Spinners just straight up with Death Rays. It was crazy. And it didn't instantly break the Eldar players back, but it was pretty fucking close. And it was just such a spectacle to watch. We were at the Fountain Blue at this point while this game was happening, and we're walking around the new casino just checking it out, and I'm just streaming the game on my phone. And oh my god, it was so hype. It was so awesome. It was so fun to watch. New Necron, the Hypercrypt Necrons look just like super gross, but it was so satisfying to watch the Eldar not live. And the other big one was the retaliatory attack on the Monolith. He threw his Yinkarn into it, and it had 7 wounds. The Monolith had 7 wounds left, and he got 2 wounds on it, and Matt Laura needed box cars to save it, and he fucking rolled box cars. Oh my god, it was so good. The Twitch chat or the YouTube chat, I guess, was losing their fucking minds. It was amazing. It was so cool to see it.
I can imagine having hit boxcars and he just make it.
Yeah,
On the top table finals.
this is easily one of the most memorable final matches that has happened to LVO in a while. At least in my opinion. It was fucking crazy. It was so cool. But yeah, that's about that.
Yeah. I know you had something you wanted to say about some LVO, John.
Yeah, so I didn't go as I mentioned, but some of my buddies who I play Star Wars Legion with at the local game store actually got in the top 8 of the Legion event, which is like 132 people. So yeah, congrats to Phil and David, who it's funny with Phil because the first time I met Phil, I was testing out my double Dark Troopers list, and that's like the equivalent of like, I don't know what the 40k equivalent is anymore. I guess like a knight's list against a new person. He wasn't a new person, but his first time meeting this guy, he's trying out his like casual Rogue One list. And I'm like, here's like 8 Dark Troopers. And I tabled him like in 2 turns, which doesn't happen in Legion like ever. He wasn't salty. It was just about it. It was just funny. It's like, hey man, nice to meet you. You're dead. But I played with him since. Actually, the last time I played with him, I got demolished by his Ewoks. I played. You guys probably don't know what these mean, but just by that name, I played hostage exchange with Darth Vader against his Ewok list and lost in 2 turns. His Care Bears are insane, and I predicted Care Bears would be a hard swarm skew that you just can't like wipe out enough, and they performed well. So congrats to Phil with his Ewok swarm, and David with his his Wookiee swarm with the 3 fluttercraft from episode 3, and like 6 units of Wookiees led by Chewbacca just tearing through the opposition, dropping bombs everywhere. Yeah, pretty awesome to see the local meta reaching top 8. So yeah, it was pretty cool hearing about that and following them on the the rankings app. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like 4-0. Oh gosh, they're 5-0. Holy crap, they're gonna be in the top 8. And yeah, it was pretty awesome to hear some of your buddies, do well at the event.
Of course, always got to cheer them on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, very cool. We've obviously gone a lot longer than expected, so shall we just get to the hobby rant?
Let's do it.
Well, let's start with you, John.
Warhammer Fantasy. Well, actually, no. I finished painting a Word Bear's command squad for Horus Heresy because I'm convinced that the command squad is probably the best unit in the game. Not because it's OP or anything, but it's super customizable. You could give them jump packs. You could just you could give them Terminator armor. You could put them in the Rhino with just like heavy weapons and all that, and it's just such a solid unit, and it scores objectives, which is rare in Horus Heresy. So I just built one for my Word Bears. They have jump packs. They have a plethora of melee weapons: power fist, lightning claws, power swords, power axes, and all the good stuff. So just finish that up. Just need to do some transfers, and they're good to go. And working on my Warriors of Chaos for Old World. The game launched. Actually, some spicy news. So because of the snowstorms in Memphis, Tennessee, which is where the warehouse is, the North American launch of the Old World was delayed.
Oh shit!
Did not get my rule books this weekend. A bunch of other stores got some stuff. Like I know the Warhammer Cafe got a small stock, but none of their pre-orders came. Most stores didn't get their allocations. The ones I go to, which are KKTs and Next Gen, did not get any Old World product. I think Emerald Knights, which I played D&D in yesterday, got one of each launch box, and that was it. Yeah, it was kind of a mess. Thankfully, it was only in North America, so the game overall is still doing well in the UK, which I think is what matters. But yeah, I mean, even the people I talk to, they're still hyped. It just kind of sucks, you're waiting. I mean, if you listen to the cast, I was pretty hyped for this game, and then it's like get a message from the store like, oh yeah, the products are delayed. Sorry, snowstorm. It's like, well, all right, that's okay. PDFs it is.
Yeah, at the Warhammer store at LVO, because they had a booth. When I went there, I wanted to get the core book, and yeah, that was like the first thing sold out.
Oof.
They still had plenty of Tomb King and Bretonnian starter boxes on the sale, but just the core rulebook that was taken out. That was gone before I could get there, so I didn't get a chance for that. In terms of me, I mean, just got back from LVO. I think this is, well, for me at least, first LVO where I didn't have to do any painting or basing in Las Vegas. So, my work ethic finally paid off, even though I did I did spend a whole night painting up my army. Not as much as Travis, but yeah, I'll definitely be taking a break this week. My whole group is going to be taking a break this week. We'll meet up next week, do something, but take a break. Maybe after the break, get back to painting the Night Haunt and some Shadows of Brimstone. Just see what else, because it's not set in stone, but we are planning to do like a team event sometime in the future with our group. So we were discussing that over our ride back home here to LA. So
Yeah.
It might be something else that we might do. We'll have to wait and see, everyone's schedule. Always hard to coordinate with 5 people.
Hopefully get some practice in. If anybody's listening, they're SoCal local and they have a smaller team event. That's because we looked up the one that's in Anaheim, that's in March. That's going to be tricky for us this year, but if there's any other smaller local ones you know about, let us know. That'd be really cool.
Yep. And Travis,
Yes.
go ahead. Tell us about your week.
Oh, for hobby stuff? Well, you know, starting on January 3rd, I believe it was, you know, right when we get back from Christmas break, I started painting up the custodies you saw earlier, and that's the final product. I think I'm pretty happy with them. I'm gonna have to go through and do some more touch-ups and stuff. You can see, I think the sister squad on the left side of the image are actually just hard, like blue or white tacked onto their bases because my drill bit died during the final basing process. But yeah, just some minor touch-ups and stuff. I'm actually just really excited to play some more games with the custodies and just, you know, run them around a bit and see how they do.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully, Travis, you come around a bit more and not be too busy.
Yes, hopefully.
Nice to have your input on a few things.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I'll try to at least be around for the major stuff.
I don't know shit about 40k, and I don't think I will end up doing shit about 40k anytime soon. Too many other games.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to keep in your noggin, and you know, like so many other game systems. That's already impressive.
Now there's like player place terrain. Oh gosh, disgusting.
Well, hopefully that is going to be dying out. So, and we'll be sticking to the GW side of things because surprisingly, the GW place terrain is actually really good. Surprisingly. So, let's hope that this was just the last time thing. So,
Yeah, that'd be nice. If I could never ever do player place terrain ever again, I would be a happy person. That's for sure.
all right then. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who made it through this long ass video. And we'll see you next time.
Hey everyone.